Greetings, everybody.
Yeah.
I am Str8JaktJim.
And I'm Natty. Hello.
Hello, how are we all tonight? Welcome to the GOA Weekly Show. Dan and Pete on holidays from their radio gig still, so we're here to entertain you for the next sort of 40 minutes, half an hour, or however long we feel like talking for.
I like that. I do think we do need to be called the one team.
I
Was
do.
that what you were saying before?
Yeah, I think so. I think we need to we'll have the one team, which is us, and the A team, which is Pete, so we can still be, the top level tier. No B teams or team number twos, but yeah. but yeah. But yeah, no, it's a big week, I think.
Yeah, lots of like big news coming out this week, which is, sometimes good, sometimes bad. I think it depends on your perspective on, on the news.
I think we should take the view that all news is good news, sort of like the publicity thing, where all publicity is good publicity.
I totally disagree with that.
I think there is definitely some bad publicity.
Oh
but,
my goodness.
Yeah, but no, yeah. Once again, it's been a big week, so I just yeah. But yeah, so let's get started. Let's talk about the Nintendo Switch OLED model. So this one dropped last night, and I didn't know. Well, apart from probably some of the major places that got press releases, which I think we actually did. I think Nico was saying we got a press release for this one, but it dropped probably about 10 o'clock Perth time, just as I was getting ready to go to bed. And I thought, I have to get in on this, see what's going on. And it's a little bit underwhelming, if we're being honest, with the offerings there.
Yeah. I have a word for when Nintendo disappoints me, and it's Nintondo. Nintondo. It's because one of my friends once got a cartridge off of eBay. He was trying to get his hands on a game, and he got the cartridge off eBay, and it arrived in this box that had Nintendo on it, and the cartridge had Nintendo printed on it. And it's just the disappointment in Nintendo that I feel we all have at times.
Yeah, Nintendo gonna do what Nintendo. Yeah, it's.
I don't know if you want to run through the specs, Jim, and we can kind of break it down from there.
So the video that they released last night, there was four key things that they pointed out, and probably by far what I would call, if not the biggest, one of the biggest two things for the specs for the OLED Switch, and that's the screen. So it's now a 7-inch screen as opposed to the 6.2-inch screen that the OG Switch has, and it's an OLED screen, obviously being an OLED model.
I mean that puts it above average, so that's good.
It does, but as lots of people have rightly pointed out, Vita did it first.
Yes.
but yeah, it's good. It's good to see that screen getting an upgrade, I think, because and I will admit that I don't actually take my Switch out of its dock all that much. I'm normally playing.
Really?
Yeah, and normally it's sitting in the dock and I'm playing TV with it. So on the TV.
Man.
So
I'm like 99% of the time handheld. I'm
it's
curled up in bed playing games.
Yeah. I think I tried to play it once, and it was when I was catching the bus to work, and I thought, there's 40 minutes on the bus, and it's one bus pretty much all the way from where I am to work. This would be a good time to sit down and play games, and I tried a few times, but I was just being bumped around by the bus so much that I just went, nah, this is cool, I'll read a book instead. Thanks.
Yeah,
but,
it's always hard with the glare on the screens as well. I used to find that I used to take my DS with me everywhere, but you just end up in a bad seat and you're like, I can't even see the screen.
Yeah, that's it. Then the two upgrades that I think are for people that want to play in handheld mode or with other people in handheld mode as well. So there's the new and improved kickstand, which I quite like. I think it's a good addition. Instead of just being the flimsy little strip of plastic on the back, it's now pretty much the whole length of the Switch and can be set at different angles as well. So I think that's pretty cool for people that do take their Switch out and maybe sit it up outside somewhere and play with a couple of people. So I think that's a good addition.
Yeah, no, I agree entirely. That definitely needed an upgrade, and certainly not something that would have cost them a lot of money to do. So why not add it in?
That's right. And then there was the audio improvements as well, which is once again a good thing. But for me, like, if for the very few times that I have taken the Switch into handheld mode and played it in handheld mode, I've wanted headphones because I've been playing for myself and I haven't wanted to bother other people around. So the new audio improvements, once again, are a good idea. But if you're going to be playing with friends, I sort of more see people playing with on the TV with friends rather than oh hello, we're in the middle of the CBD or something and we're just catching up for drinks. Oh look, I've got my Switch, let's pull it out and have some games, you know.
I've never done that before.
No. The closest I came was I went away camping with a mate once, and me and him were there on the Friday night, and then his wife and kids were coming down the next day. So that Friday night, we played a few games of Mario Party around the Switch, just in our little camper trailer. That's
pretty cool.
It was pretty cool, but that's about the only time I've done anything like that, and it was.
I just remember PAX not last year, the year before, where everybody had their Switches with them and you were queuing up for anything. Everybody had their Switches out, which was very, very cool. Yeah, see, that works for me, and it's in the right environment where people are going to go, oh, cool, you've got a Switch, what games you're playing, and stuff like that. So that works for me. It's socially acceptable, so it's all right.
That's it.
But you're not going to whip it out at the pub, is that what you're saying?
No, that's definitely not going to whip it out at the pub. Not going to carry like a $400 bit of tech around in a pub with me, because generally when I go to the pub, things are a little bit liquid, shall we say.
A bit messy.
Yeah. I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, just not. I wouldn't want to be looking after a Switch all night, that's for sure.
I used to catch up with a group of friends at the pub for after work drinks, and we'd sit at a back corner table and all take out our Switches and be showing each other like things on games and stuff. Anyway, that's probably the difference between having that higher expendable income where you're not as worried about damage, but we're also far away from the action too,
and not so much that, but your friends are there with you. And I'm guessing they had their own Switches as well, did they?
Everybody had their own Switch out. So
apart from like the catch-ups we do with the GOA crew, I don't think there'd be anybody that would want me to take the Switch out if we were going somewhere. So it's it was probably a bit down to my group of friends as well. Not that they don't like games; they like games, but just not to that level.
I'm very thankful that most of my friend circles are understanding that I'm a gamer. They have to deal with me kind of doing that kind of stuff.
Cool. The last one that the video talked about, but not the last feature that the new Switch has, and I'm a little bit curious why they chose to highlight this one so much, is that the new OLED Switch is getting a network port on the dock. And
it's utterly baffling. I can only think that maybe in other international markets that would be useful for some reason.
I mean, and don't get me wrong, it's useful, and I don't mind having it, because I'm one of those people, I've always preferred wired connections. If I have the option, my console will be connected via a cable rather than Wi-Fi. But the fact that they displayed it so prominently is kind of baffling to me, especially considering that they've doubled the storage space from the OG Switch, so you're getting 64 gig now instead of 32 gig, which still...
And they didn't talk about that.
No, that's right. That was not in the video at all. So you had to go through the specs of the new Switch to go, oh, cool, it's got more storage. I like that. Yeah. Just lead with that, Nintendo.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, just because I hadn't looked into it as thoroughly as you have they fixed the fact that there's no microphone?
I don't think so. I think there's still no microphone.
Oh my god!
I haven't seen anything officially, but I don't remember seeing anything on the tech specs about it. Let me just have another quick look, just in case.
Yeah, man, that's the biggest disappointment for me, because I don't know if you played any of the DS games that had the mic stuff built into it, but so many amazing moments with yelling objection into my DS and like blowing into the microphone
Yeah.
for different games.
I do remember one where I think it was Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks, and there was a bit there where you had to, some character wanted you to yell into the microphone and he'd make something cheaper. And I've sort of gone half-hearted, just like that though, nothing really, really loud. And then right afterwards it says, that was really good. But I bet you feel stupid because, you know, you could have just blown on the microphone and gotten the same effect. And like that line, almost verbatim, was in the game. It was...
Wow.
Yeah. Just
completely fourth wall breaking.
Yeah, yeah. Gamma, thank you so much for that. 27 months for that sub.
Wow. Thank you,
Crazy.
Gamma. That's awesome.
But yeah, I'm trying to bring up the specs to just double check and confirm that there was no microphone. But
yeah, I mean,
I that's right, because I don't know why, but the Nintendo website last night, I was trying to get on there to look up specs, did not like Chrome. Switched over to Edge, was fine, and I have no idea why. And I don't
kind of collusion between Nintendo and Microsoft.
Oh, probably more something to do with my computer, but yeah. So actually, here's one thing I found really curious because I was trying to compare stats on like size and weight between the OG Switch and the OLED model. So they're the same width, the same the same depth, the same height, but with the Joy-Cons attached, the OLED Switch is 0.1 inch smaller. I think it was 0.1 inch smaller or 0.1 inch bigger. But there was, that 0.1 inch difference with the Joy-Cons on. With the Joy-Cons off, they were the same. So it's like these... it was just seemed like a really weird sort of thing to be different on.
Yeah, that is strange. That is very strange.
And like, because with the new screen, they're just getting rid of some of the framing around the side. Yeah, so it's still going to be the same sort of size. Well, it is going to be the same size, but yeah, it was just a little bit weird. But a little bit heavier too, I think, than the Switch. Sorry, what was that, Natty? You're gonna...
Oh, I was just about to say, like, I guess the other couple of criticisms that we've really been seeing around, because it's the OLED screen, it's only up to
720p still.
720, on handheld, out to 1080 on docked, but no 4K, which is just okay.
Once again, I'm not that worried about.
Doesn't bother you?
No, well, especially in handheld mode, right? That screen is that small. Anything bigger than 720p, you're probably not going to see a comparable difference anyway. And even like, I always tell the story. A few years ago, I went from, I think I had a 42-inch TV to a 65-inch TV. And that's the first time I've been able to see an appreciable difference between standard definition and high definition TV, let alone 4K on top of that again too. And that might be more an indication of the quality of my eyes, but it's, but yeah, just to me, and that sort of thing has always sort of been, I don't know, I've always been less concerned, I guess, about graphics at the end of the day. Like when people talk about, 4K and 60 FPS and all that sort of stuff, and going, yeah, it's nice, but the speedrunner in me comes out and goes, if you've got 60 frames per second, you've just got, one half of the amount of time as opposed to a 30 frames per second to perform a one frame trick. It's
I like that. I mean, I guess the other thing that really came to the forefront is that they're not updating that chip.
That's the big one.
And so, things like frame rate drops, where if you were playing Breath of the Wild and the grass was bustling and you were getting kind of slight drops in handheld mode and things like that, it would have been really nice if they could have bumped that up just a little bit.
Yeah, it's such a meh upgrade for this, isn't it? Like, even the battery's the same from the Switch. It's still the same battery, so you're not getting any more battery life or getting any extra playtime or faster charging. It's still the same battery. The
only good thing that has come out of this upgrade is the memes.
Yeah.
All the funny memes in the videos. like this Nintendo, like somebody talking to Nintendo, just being like, it'd be really good, like an upgraded processor and
That's it.
better
I got your dog. I got your
and...
dog. Here's a network port. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. I don't understand.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going to find out that, like, I don't know, some region somewhere that's really useful. Maybe all their Wi-Fi is just the worst. And so plugged is the way to go. The other thought I had was if they're going to try and make Pokemon Unite, like, seriously an esport, maybe they'll have handheld, like, divisions versus docked division. I don't know.
Yeah, that's
and
actually...
That way people could have handheld plugged in. I don't know.
That's actually an interesting point. But for most people that I've spoken to, Pokemon Unite, because that's the MOBA, isn't it? The Pokemon MOBA. Most people I've sort of spoken to about it have, and the impressions that I'm getting is this is going to be an Asian thing than because that's combining Pokemon and MOBA would be huge in Asia. Like the Western market, not so much. You'll probably get some people playing it because of it's Pokemon. Like hell, I'm thinking of giving it a go because it's Pokemon, you know. But I don't know. I feel like it's probably something, and particularly when they did that presentation in partnership with Tencent, I feel like that's not just aimed at Asia, but China specifically.
Yeah.
And
that's
yeah,
pretty fair.
It feels and I just think that adding a network port, because that's what we were talking about, not just Pokemon Unite. I lost my train of thought for a second there.
That's all right. We'll look back.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and I just feel like if you're going to do it there, like Asia uses their mobile data a lot, and I feel like a network port's wasted in that region. Yeah, it's
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like having it because, like I said, if I can plug it in via cable, I will. But it just it seems an odd choice to not just add in to an upgraded model, but to be one of the 4 selling points you put in a video.
Now, you're a bit more techie than me. So through a LAN port, could you connect it to a PC for streaming?
I don't think so.
Okay. I didn't think so either, but I was just trying to think, like, where is the value? Like...
Yeah. The main value would be faster speeds, and unless, like we were talking about before we started, Nintendo's got some wacky side project that can use that port as well. Like, you know, your Game Boy Advance link cables or stuff like that. That could possibly be a reason, but that's like some pretty severe speculation right there.
Yeah. Oh man, I was thinking the other day when I think Pete was chatting about tech advancements and stuff. I was thinking back to when the Nintendo released the Pulse thing that could assess your pulse while you were playing, and how they've kind of got a little bit of that tech built into Ring Fit, and I was just thinking, maybe. Yeah, we could be looking at some other things that plug into there, maybe.
And it's definitely not an out there idea. Like, look at some of the projects they've done over, like, most recently, well, not most recently, but recently, Labo or however you say it. And I was watching someone put some together on a stream one day, and because there was a piano one. And you're thinking, you press the keys on the cardboard piano and it's going to play, it's going to make the Switch play music or something like that. No, it makes the Joy-Cons vibrate at a specific frequency that it plays that note. So there's some weird stuff out there, and I'm all for weird because, like, you do weird, you get a Wii, you know, one of the best-selling consoles of all time, or you get some strange stuff too, like the Super Nintendo Online stuff that was only available at a certain time on a Friday night in Japan because Nintendo would, instead of going to like an internet provider, Nintendo would go on to like a TV station or a radio station or something like that. So what they bought wasn't just like, here, upload it to the internet. It was they bought broadcast time. So
Oh,
So
wow.
they could only broadcast, the Satellaview Gamma, that's the one. So the only time that they could broadcast this signal was during this bit that they'd bought. So that was like every Friday evening in Japan, yeah.
Man. All right. Well, fingers crossed something exciting comes out of it. The only thing I do like about it is the color.
Yes, I do like the white.
I think I saw Ruby Plays tweeting today that is it bad that I want to buy it just because it's white and it'll match my aesthetic?
Here's an interesting note for you that I think I don't know if Nintendo actually officially sort of said this, but the OLED model releases on the 8th of October, and that is the date that Metroid Dread releases. And that sort of colour scheme is the colour scheme of the Emmy, which is that thing you see chasing around Samus in all the trailers. So that's the colour scheme of the Emmy. So it sort of all ties in there a bit. Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
And look, hopefully Nintendo brings some surprises for us.
Yeah, and
fingers crossed.
There's a little bit of hope I still have that there's something more coming, because Nintendo Switch OLED model is a terrible name. It surely if you've got like a good name for it, like your Super Nintendo Switch or your Switch Pro, like even Switch Pro's better than the OLED model. That's just so the only bit that sort of gives me a little bit of hope is that they're saving the good name for whatever release comes later, and it's because of like chip shortages and COVID working conditions that they haven't been able to get it to a spot that they want. But they've got enough there, and people have been talking about it for long enough that they've gone, let's just release something.
That's an interesting theory.
Yeah, and it's a little bit of hope that I'm holding on to, but I'm not holding my breath either.
All right, so bets on maybe for a new Switch Pro.
Yeah, starting the rumours now, people. Let's go. We'll start the new Switch Pro or new Nintendo Switch OLED model. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Let's go with some 3DS naming conventions. All right?
Well, they're going to do the Switch XL.
Yeah, the Switch XL, or the new Switch XL, or and don't forget about Lite, because that's kind of like the Switch Lite's kind of like the 2DS.
Yes, yeah. Yeah. What else? Oh man, yeah. Anyway, but yeah, we can move on. I think.
I am kind of interested though in seeing Pokemon Unite. We were talking about that a little bit before, because it's it does sort of tickle my fancy, and like especially the sort of esports implications around that. Like it seems. Yeah. It seems like a game that would be really good in that front, and would be really cool to see it in action.
Yeah, I'm very excited. As somebody whose like first MOBA experience was the Lord of the Rings MOBA.
I didn't even know they made one.
Yeah, there was one on, I think we were playing it on Xbox 360, I want to say. And I just had no idea what a MOBA was, but I was running around and like doing area of effect things and thinking I was being helpful and probably just upsetting everyone.
Look, I'm helping!
Yay, I'm helping. I can heal the towers.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Very thankfully, I'm a bit more mature in my gaming experience with MOBAs now, but I'm always going to be attracted to those kind of licensed things. So
even like League of Legends, I look at that and like all the lots and lots of watching we've done, especially over MSI with Pentanet.gg getting in there, and that game is amazing to watch. Even like I know the basics, I don't know the ins and outs, but it's still incredibly fun to watch, and it's just like super exciting, and I just hope that Pokemon Unite can get a bit of that as well. Yeah.
We'll have to see. Who knows? Yeah. It's Nintendo. Who knows?
That's it. And yeah, Big Chub's not an esports channel, but we got a bit of esports news that we were segueing into there quite seamlessly, I think. Yes, yeah. We
were trying to do it slyly, but now we'll just like crash.
Jump right in. Now that you've pulled back the curtain, we'll just go straight for it.
Yes. So for anybody who was on Twitter today and is an esports fan in Australia, you probably saw the news that the Melbourne Esports Open has been they've decided not to run it. They were very specific not to use the word cancelled, but my headline says cancelled. But
well, yeah, and this is slightly off topic, but can you really cancel an annual event? So it'll come back next year. And so,
I see.
like, because I had that sort of argument with people, like, because my health provider in Western Australia is called HBF, and they made a big song and dance last year about cancelling their annual rate rises, that they weren't postponing it or whatnot, but it didn't stop them from putting up their rates this year and go, well, can you really call it a cancelling when you're just going to do it anyway? So that's,
yeah.
But back onto the esports, like, yeah, you can, I know cancelling's a harsh term, and I can see why they don't want to use it. But I hope that they get something off the ground a bit later on as well, or maybe next year, or maybe even see if they can try and pivot to a digital event.
Yeah, well, I think that is kind of where they're leaving the framework for. They don't want to say cancel because it could come back in some other form. It could come back earlier because normally it runs in the later half of the year, so maybe they run it in the earlier part of the year. Who really knows? But I think what this has really struck fear in everybody's hearts about is PAX coming up, because we had the announcement that Formula One was cancelled and the MotoGP was cancelled. Now we've got the MEO cancelled. So is PAX potentially next on the chopping block?
Yeah, the MotoGP and Formula One, not like, I don't see their cancellations as affecting local stuff, because like Formula One in particular said that one of the overriding factors for not going ahead was because they've got to get all their international people over and then quarantine for 2 weeks, and it's going to be a huge expense. So to me, the bigger cancellation and impact that PAX may or may not go ahead is MEO being cancelled, because that's an Australian event in Melbourne, and if that's cancelled at the moment, and I think when was it due to run? Was it August?
October.
October. In October. Well, that makes it even worse for PAX. Then I think they'll be looking very hard at that, and I wouldn't be surprised to see an online event for PAX this year as well.
Yeah. Oh, it makes me cry. All of it just on the inside. This year was a year where I was going to have a bit of flexibility with my leave. I was going to be able to go to the MEO and PAX and all these things, and now it's like, but yeah, I mean, maybe it's not all hope is lost. We could have, online events popping up, which, everybody knows isn't the same. If you read Zulu's After Dark article he released a couple of weeks ago, we know that online events are not the same as live ones, but it's still a good opportunity to catch up with the community and still enjoy events. So
that's right. And there's some doing sessions and whatnot at for an online event, because as GOA, we put in one about the history of GOA for last year's PAX 2020, and myself and Inferno, who does lots of writing for the Game on Oz website, we did one on Star Wars, and I have to say that was pretty cool fun. And granted, I haven't done a panel at a big convention before, so I've got nothing to compare it against, but I have been to conventions before, and I know the atmosphere in them, and that bit is missing, but it was really cool in the way they did it, in that when your session went up on the PAX Twitch channel, whichever one you were in, because they were running 3 channels, you jumped in a Discord, and you were there to have a chat with anybody that might like to pop in and say hello as well, so you could answer some questions and interact with people, and that was pretty cool. And I'd watched a couple of sessions like that where, in particular, there was, I think actually this was a live session where they had some doctors and we're talking about people who'd done studies into the psychological impact of gaming, and you could ask them questions, and there was a moderator that was taking them to the panel to answer, and it was quite insightful on that topic, but you still had that interaction as well.
Yeah, which is which is really good. So the only other thing this really throws into doubt as well is that the LCO Split 2 finals were reportedly happening at MEO, and so now they'll have to find a new home.
Yeah.
Whether that's going to be an in-person event, we probably won't be having that now if MEO's been cancelled, but that's kind of another sad thing. I think the community was looking forward to being able to go to another in-person event, similar to how World of Tanks had their recent finals in person. I think everybody loved that. But
yeah, just being able to get out there and see people and be able to cheer and whatnot. Like, once again, because I come from more of a sporting background and getting into esports in the last sort of couple of years, like the difference between watching the games on TV and with full crowds in there, and then hearing, particularly the AFL, where when there's no crowd and they pump in that canned crowd noise, and it's just like, oh my god, that's like 80 sitcoms canned laughter. It's just I'm
terrible.
No good, thanks.
I don't know if you're a pro wrestling fan, but you know, for the last year and a half, they've been doing the same with a lot of the pro wrestling shows, and it is just not the same. It is not the same.
Yeah, it's not. It's a toss-up whether I prefer the silence or the canned stuff, though, because the silence is just eerie. Like it's
I don't know. I feel like you can choose to fill that with whatever you want at home, compared to being forced to listen to canned laughter or cheers in our cases.
That's it. Yeah, but yeah, it's it's a sad to see the in-person event get cancelled, but I'm hoping that they'll be able to get something off the ground, and because there was a lot of different things going on at MEO, lots of different tournaments happening, lots of different teams involved, not just LCO with League of Legends, but a lot of different stuff, and it would have been cool to see them all in the same place.
Yep. I'll just go take my sad self off.
Yeah, that's all right. But let's talk about something fun now. What are you playing?
Yeah. I mentioned it in our team meeting on Monday. There's been like some new music coming out, and I've got myself stuck on recreating all the songs in the Animal Crossing Island tune maker. So I'm legit sitting with my Switch in bed, like composing music on the very basic island tune creator.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I don't know, like I'm you know, similar to you, very like into music and stuff like that, so it's a way for me to be able to get into it without having to, you know, get out my door or pull out an instrument or something. So nice and quick and easy, but still nice and musical. Other than that, Teamfight Tactics is gearing up for their kind of mid-season mix-up. They always have a major change at the mid-season, so today their testing servers have been updated with the new changes, so been going in there and having a bit of a play around.
Nice. I did want to ask, how's Animal Crossing going? Because I know they released some stuff for Mario's anniversary, but was there anything else that are they still updating it, or are you just playing around in it?
Talking about another meme on the Animal Crossing Reddit. Do you know that meme that's got Anakin and
Padme? Yeah.
Padme, thank you. Shoot me for not remembering that. And you know, Anakin's Nintendo and Padme is saying is Animal Crossing fans. So Nintendo comes up and Animal Crossing fans say, "Oh, updates! Nintendo's giving us updates," and Nintendo's like, "It's a LAN port on the new Switch." And, then it's got the sad Padme face, like it's not updates for Animal Crossing. So the first year after release, they did have a whole lot of updates just because there was all the seasonal stuff.
Yeah.
So when we had our summer hit, you could go swimming around the island. That was a new update that came out, but there hasn't really been a lot of major stuff happening now that we're kind of coming into the second year. Just little things like the Mario update, things like that.
Yeah.
But I I must admit I haven't really touched Animal Crossing in about 6 months. So it's kind of a nice excuse to pull it out again and get some playtime in. I think otherwise for my Switch, I've just been playing some Just Dance still.
Nice.
How about you? What have you been...
Sorry, that was a bit more like semaphore than dancing, but that's Maya.
That's okay. I don't know if you can call Just Dance.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can call Just Dance dancing. It's kind of like calling Dance Dance Revolution dancing.
Yeah, that's like calling Guitar Hero and Rock Band, playing instruments as well. Although I still maintain that if you've got the pro drums for Rock Band 4, it is very close to playing real drums. But,
that's probably the closest analog for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, for me, I'm still going a bit in the Old Republic as well, doing the daily missions for the Galactic Seasons that they released and getting all excited for the 10th anniversary update coming towards the end of the year. They made an announcement on that, so they've got a new expansion called Legacy of the Sith. And actually, there's one thing that I think that's going to be really good in the game is a thing called combat styles. So when you create a character in the Old Republic, there's 4 different classes, or 2 factions and 4 classes on each faction, and then each of those classes has 2 advanced classes, and then you can choose a discipline underneath that, and that's what dictates if you're a tank, if you're a healer, or if you're just damage. So they're introducing a thing called combat styles, which drastically changes the way all those work. So instead of you've picked your class, you're stuck with these 2 advanced classes, they're going to open it up, so pretty much any advanced class that makes sense for your character you can use, and it sounds like you're going to be able to switch between them and have different loadouts as long as it makes sense for it. So you're not going to have like the Force users classes used by non-Force users. So the non-Force users will have access to all the non-Force using classes, and the Force users will have the Force classes. But it means that like you can and cross faction as well. So
cool.
Yeah, so Imperials can use some of the Republic stuff, and which I think is pretty cool, and sort of mirrors a bit another game that I've been playing in Final Fantasy 14, because
all the MMOs.
That's it, yeah. But when I started getting into the Final Fantasy 14, I'd come with it. The Old Republic was the only MMO I'd ever played, so I've gone, all right, well, I want to try and pick my class carefully so that I end up with a damage one, because damage is reasonably straightforward to play. You just kill the things until they're dead. It's easy. But a healer or a tank the healer has to worry about keeping people alive, and tank has to worry about keeping the attention of enemies so the damage can do their job and stuff like that. But and I ended up with a healer, which I'm actually enjoying a lot. More than I thought I would.
Do you normally play support roles in team games? Or
nope. I'm normally there's a thing, I'm going to kill it.
DPS?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But one thing that FF14 does, and that I found out through talking with Nico, who plays a lot of that, and has wrote a whole heap about it when FF14 was having their big update a while back on GameOnOz.com, was that your class in FF14 is dictated by your main weapon. So if your main weapon is that of a healer, then you're a healer. If you're holding the weapon of a DPS, then you're a DPS. So, and that you can change that. So yeah, you can pretty much change on the fly, and that's also got a loadout system, so you can change your gear depending on what you need to do.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like flexible systems. It was one of my favorite things when the third Mass Effect game came out, where they were like, here, you can just pay some money and reallocate all your points.
Yeah.
Just go for gold.
Yeah. And the Old Republic sort of has something like that called Field Respec, but under that you could only change your discipline. So there's 3 disciplines under an advanced class, and if you couldn't go back and change your advanced class. So being able to pick all those different advanced classes is going to be amazing for the game when that launches. In fact, I think I saw it was on their public test server already. So if you want to see how it works, I think Jedi Guardian was the one that they were doing it on. So yeah, can see how it works there, and that'll be amazing to see, I reckon.
That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
How cool is it that game devs do like put stuff out on public test servers so you can go in and see what they're working on, and they can get all the test data to make things better for the final release?
Yeah, it is so cool. Like, just being a little bit ahead of the curve and being able to give feedback on what you think is works and what you think doesn't. And like that's supposed to be what early access is on Steam as well. So that devs can sell their game and you can give some feedback and say, yeah, this is what we like, and maybe the dev will change some things, but in the meantime they've also got a bit of cash coming in, because that's one of the harder things about game development, is not actually seeing any cash until you've sold a game, pretty much.
Yeah.
So I think being able to be involved in that process as a player and have that feedback, I think, is a really cool thing.
Oh well, we've both been busy with a bit of gaming then. We
have at that. I'm sure there's something else. Like, I keep on looking at my stack of games and going, what do I want to play? And then I get distracted and go, oh look, go back to this other shiny thing, or go back to what's easy, But yeah.
Oh man, like I've got a couple of like old faithfuls that like I've got a few minutes. Like there's a game on PC called Islanders where you just like build islands, but certain specs you can't build, certain buildings you can't build next to others, and you get points depending on what natural resources nearby. Anyway,
yeah,
it's super relaxing and chill, and I always just jump into
games. Comfort games.
Yes. Well, I mean it's winter. I feel like it's the perfect time for comfort games.
Yeah. I have that on my mobile. I've just got like a couple of games that are pretty much pointless. There's nothing really to them. They just go until they end, and then you can restart again and start making your way up. Like, do you remember the 2048 game where you'd like swipe the blocks? You'd start with like 2 blocks and you combine them and then go to 4, and you combine the 4s and then go to 8, and you'd keep on going until you got to 2048. And that's just one of my favourite games, because it's one I can sit there on the phone and just go swipe, change, send the boxes in various directions, and just stuff like that that's mindless that you can just waste some time with.
Yeah. Sounds very good.
Because as we here at GOA are keen to say, it's okay to just game.
It absolutely is.
Whichever way you game,
mindless fun.
That's it. Whichever way you game, do it.
Simi's just said she's got that on her watch.
Nice. And if you want a game on your watch, go for it. Hey, Simi, I do have a very important question though. Does it run Doom?
Ah, yes.
The age-old question. Yeah, everything needs to run Doom.
Or Skyrim. One or the other.
and if you want to go the other directions, does Crysis melt it? I think that might be about it for the podcast section of tonight.
It is. Yeah, we can let you get going, jump into some gaming. What are you planning to play tonight?
I think it's going to have to be Final Fantasy 14. I'm just really enjoying that, so I'm going to continue with some leveling in that and going on my way there. What about you? Well, it's an hour and a half later for you, isn't it? So it's got to be getting close to 7:30.
Yeah, nearly 7:30. I haven't had dinner yet.
Oh,
so
there you go.
Food first, and then I haven't watched any of Loki yet. I'm thinking about maybe doing a bit of catch up. So
that's the only problem with Wednesday nights, is that Loki comes out on Wednesday nights, and I have to try very, very hard on Twitter not to see anything until I get a chance to watch it.
Yeah. Spoiler free, guys.
Spoiler free. No spoilers, thank you. Blind run of Loki. All
right, well, have a wonderful night, Jim.
Thank you, Natty. You too. Enjoy your dinner, and I'm sure you'll be making some more songs in Animal Crossing very shortly.
I will be, for sure.
All right.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for all of your support. You can do a little bit more though.
You can.
Hit us up on our YouTube. Drop us a subscribe. Is that how the cool kids say it?
Exactly right,
Smash
mate.
that subs button.
Smash
smash that subs button! And, yeah, you get to enjoy more GOA content. Do it.